Hello, namaste to everyone. Am I audible to everyone? Okay, my name is Rahul, and this is your alignment class in which we'll be talking about the postures, how we are going to align them, and so that we'll get the maximum benefit of the posture. Okay, and we'll also modify the posture if you feel like if you feel difficulty to get into there. All right, so let's begin with 3 Om together. Sit in any comfortable pose. Close your eyes. Keep your spine straight. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Inhale and then exhale. Now we'll chant with 3 times Om together. Inhale. Om. Om. Now join your hands together in front of your heart center. Bow your head down. Then open your eyes while blinking. And namaste. Okay, so let's introduce each other. So I want you to tell me about yourself, that experience you have got in yoga. And if you have any injury, so please let me know so that if you get into the posture, we are going to modify that. Okay, so let's start. Would you like to start first? Yeah, anyone can start.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So my name is Miraya and I'm from Mumbai. I don't have any experience in yoga. I've only learned a bit during lockdown, online classes, and I do not have any injury. Just at times I do feel pain in the tailbone, but nothing major.
All right. Thank you. And Varudaji.
Good evening. My name is Hunda and I'm from Gujarat. I've been practicing yoga for 2 years now, but that is not the Ashtanga form of yoga. And I'm a physical therapist. So let's see and let's learn as much as we can.
Okay, we have got another person. Aya. Ayas.
Yeah, hello, this is Aya. Sorry, my camera is off because of the connection reason, but I hope that's okay. So I've been trying to complete this course for the past months, but I haven't been able to. But finally this month, I want to set aside enough time and dedicate myself. So I did 3 hours, 200 hours course in Rishikesh at a different school about 2 years ago, but I'm still, my flexibility and strength are not enough, but I want to keep trying. Yeah, I'm from Japan. I'm living in Tokyo now. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then let's begin our class. So in this class, we will modify the posture and we'll also talk about how we are going to go for the alignment of any particular posture. Okay, so we do have different, like we have divided postures into different segments, like one segment is going to only build your strength, other segment that is going to stretch your muscle, and another segment that will only increase the mobility. Okay, so if you are a beginner, we have to start from the mobility. Then we'll work on the muscle stretch. That is, then we can go for the strengthening part. Okay, so the most traditional yoga is your hatha yoga. You may already know that. So hatha yoga basically means to balance your body. Okay, your right side is dominant with your sun energy, and moon side is dominant with your left side is dominant with your moon energy. Okay, so in order to balance both of them, we do hatha yoga. So hatha yoga is basically is very smooth, that will be light and slow. Okay, you're gonna hold into one particular posture for long period of time, like 5 breath, 10 breath, as per your comfort, or as long as you can hold. Okay, the more you hold the posture, the more benefit you will have. Okay, and then we'll move further to Ashtanga Vinyasa. So Ashtanga Vinyasa, that came into existence after Hatha Yoga. Yeah, before Ashtanga Vinyasa, we had Hatha Yoga, and then Ashtanga Vinyasa came. In Ashtanga Vinyasa, we have a series that we are going to follow. Okay, so in Ashtanga Vinyasa, we have particularly series, and there are almost 72 postures. If you do one posture, that you have to do again with your followed another posture. Okay, so it means one posture should be done after another one. Okay, you cannot jump or skip any posture into there. Okay, that is your Ashtanga Vinyasa. Then alignment and adjustment and Iyengar yoga and this power yoga, yin yoga and Vikram yoga, they all came after this. All right. So we will also talk about Iyengar yoga. We will also talk about the Ashtanga Vinyasa. Okay. After this Ashtanga Vinyasa, when people found this so much difficult, then Vinyasa came. Okay. So Vinyasa can be easier, can be hard, can be intense, more than Ashtanga Vinyasa. Okay. So it depends. Like we will also do Vinyasa in this class. In order to get to the posture, we have to warm up, right? So let's suppose if you are going to enter into camel pose. Camel pose itself is very intense. Let's suppose you want to get into the camel pose. Before getting into there, you have to warm up yourself. Okay, so that we are going to try, that we are going to do in each and every class. Okay, so let's begin with your body alignment, how it is. Okay, so we will start with the mobility, stability, where we have got in our body. Okay, so your body is designed in such a way where mobility alternatively they comes after another one. Okay, if we talk about our toes, we'll start with the foundation with our feet. If we talk about our toes, how it should be, like is it stable or mobile? What do you feel like? We are talking about joints. We have got different joints: elbow joint, shoulder joint, lower back, hip, knee and ankle, toes itself is also joint. Okay, if we talk about our toes joint, then what do you feel? Does it have stability or mobility? And in stability we have only two actions. Okay, if we say we have got stability in our elbow or in our hip joint, it means it has only two actions: flexion and extension. Flexion means when you are increasing the angle of two joints. Flexion means when you are decreasing the angle of two joints. Okay, so let's talk about our toes. What does it have? Does it have stability or mobility?
Mobility.
Mobility. See, when you have mobility, it means you can make a circle with your joint. Okay, if you can make circle with your joint, that means you have got mobility. It does not have limited range of motion. It means it can easily roll around or roll around. And but if it had stability, it could only flex and extend. Okay, but in your toes we have stability. Why? In our toes, these are our toes. So in our toes we can only flex and extend. We cannot make circle with our toes. Can you make circle? No. What that mean? It has stability. It can only flex, it can only extend. Okay, now let's move on to our ankle. What does it have? Does it have stability, mobility?
Mobility.
Mobility. As I told you before, that alternatively they will come. Stability, mobility, stability, mobility. They will come after another one. Okay, when you are moving your toe, sorry, ankle like this, it means it should have mobility. But if you don't move your ankle, you know, whenever we are performing the posture, or whenever we are getting into the class, in yoga class, we usually start with a warm up, right? So that warm ups that directly comes in your mobility joint, mobile joints, like your ankle. This is your mobile. Now we are supposed to first awaken it. If you don't awaken it, if it does not get warmed, or if you're like, if it is having sudden movement, then you may get cramp. Okay, cramp or like a sting in your joint. So that is why first we have to open up from the joint. As I told you before, that first we're going to work on the mobility that will be inside of your muscle, like in mobility, flexibility, then strength. When they both combines, then strength comes. Okay, so before we go for the flexibility, we have to understand that mobility should be there in your particular joints. So now in your ankle there should be mobility. Okay, let's move on to our knee joint. What should it have?
Stability.
Stability. Why is it so?
Because it only proposes two range of motion, flexion and extension.
Yeah, it can only propose a two flexion and extension. Okay, you cannot make circle with your knee joint. So what about this? You are making circle with the knee joint.
That is with the movement of the hip.
Yes, that movement is directly coming from a hip. Okay, if let's suppose your hip were stable, if you're holding it, if it is still, then you cannot move from the knee joint. You can only extend and flex. Okay, so that is why we have got stability in a knee joint. Okay, now let's move further to a hip joint. Hip joint, or your femur and pelvic girdle. In between femur and pelvic girdle, there is a joint. So that joint, how it should be? It should be mobile or stable?
Mobility.
Mobile. Okay, it should be mobile, because see, let's suppose if it was stiff, it was stiff like your knee. So do you really think that you could walk? Or I mean, you could walk, but you could not, extend your leg to the side. You could not, this is your abduction, adduction, so you could not do these actions. Okay, so that is why God has given this mobility in our hip joint. Okay, now let's move further to your lower back. What does it have in your lower back?
Stability.
Stability. Why is it so?
Because it's going back. I mean, it's. I mean,
Flexing?
there is no rotation. The circular
No
motion cannot
rotation.
be done.
Yeah, that circumduction cannot be done in this. Okay, so in your lower back, if you're twisting like this, so this is also a kind of twisting. If you have stability in your joint, then you cannot twist. Okay, if you're twisting in your knee joint, that will definitely hurt your ligaments. Okay, and what about your lower back? Is it twist? It's twisting, right? So why did you say this is stable?
Because it's not doing full circle.
No, it's not all about circle like 360-degree angle. No, it should
Okay.
be like twisting. Okay, little twisting or intense twisting, that does not matter. If it can twist slightly, that means it has mobility. Okay, so what do you think? What does it have?
Our lower back has mobility, and as we move ahead, like from the lumbar to thoracic, then the thoracic would give the stability, while the lumbar would have mobility. Both the curvatures, lumbar and cervical, would give us mobility because they are proposing the range of motion to us.
Okay, so in your lower back, we don't have mobility. Okay, we have stability. Because see, when you're bending back like this, you can easily bend back from the lumbar region. when you're bending forward, you can easily bend forward from the lumbar region. But when the moment when you twist, you don't twist from the lumbar region. The lumbar region will be stable, but you are twisting from your thoracic region only. Thoracic means this part. This is your rib cages. So this rib cages is moving side. Okay, now do it on yourself, then you will understand. Sit in any comfortable pose. Now grab your left knee with your right hand or any hand. Then twist your spine back. Just feel the twisting where it is coming from. It will definitely come from the thoracic region or from the navel center, right? So your lumbar region, it should be stable. Okay, so when your lumbar start, from where your lumbar start and your thoracic ends, that region, that joint is mobile. Okay, neither your thoracic region nor your lumbar region is mobile. The between your thoracic region and lumbar region, there is a joint that is mobile. Okay, so don't feel like if you have mobility in your thoracic region, you will also twist from your, like half of your chest will be twisted and other chest will be, half of the chest will be in front. That will not happen. Okay, if you're twisting your spine, that will coming from your thoracic region only. Complete thoracic region will start to twist. Okay, so see, mobility, stability, that will come after another one. You had mobility in your hip joint. Now lumbar region is stable. Now what about your thoracic region? It's mobile. Thoracic. This is your thoracic rib cages. And let's move on to your cervical. What does it have?
Mobility.
Yes, Parunda ji.
Yes, it has mobility.
Moving.
Okay, so your head is moving actually. Your skull is
Neck.
moving. Your neck is not moving.
Okay.
See, when you're moving your head, I mean, you are trying, like when you try to move your cervical, it won't move. You're just moving your head. Okay, your cervical can only flex, that can only extend. Okay, what's that mean?
Stability.
Stable. Okay, so we are supposed to build the strength on that stable part. Okay, now let's move on to your shoulders. What does it have?
Mobility.
Mobility. Yes. So if we say we have got mobility in our any particular joint, that means we are supposed to rotate that particular joint like once in a day almost. Okay, if you don't rotate your even like shoulder once in a day, then you will find that stiffness in your shoulder. You will get into like you may have got that shoulder impingement. Okay, because of the tightness of your muscle, that will start to pinch your nerves, then you will have pain in your nerves. Okay, so that is why if we say we are supposed to have mobility in our particular joint, we are supposed to always rotate that part. Okay, rotate that joint. Okay, let's move on to your elbow joint. What it should have?
Stability.
Stability. Okay, and your wrist, it has mobility. Fingers, stable.
Stability.
Okay, now you must have understood everything about this stable and mobile part. Okay, if we say we have got stability in any joint, lower back it has stability, elbow it has stability, knee joint it has stability. So now what can we do in this, like what can we do in these joints? We cannot twist them, we cannot extend them. So what are we supposed to do in there? We cannot twist, we cannot neither we can extend it too much, that will be hyperextension, right? So you have got that will be hyperextension. If you're extending your knees too much forward, that will again be hyperextended. If you're bending too much back, that will again be hyperextension. Okay, so hyperextension is never be good for your body. Okay, as you may already know that excess of everything is harmful, right? If you're extending your hand too much forward, then you will have problem. But if you're working on your shoulders, If you're working out on your shoulders and if you're rotating back, it is fine in that case. But in your stable joint, this is not fine. Okay, so what are we going to do in that joint? So we are going to build the strength of that particular region. Okay, we are not supposed to stretch that part too much. Okay, if we are talking about our lower back, it has stability, right? So if you're bending too much from the lower back, do you really think that it will build its strength? It won't build its strength because you're only extending. Okay, in order to build the strength of your muscles, you have to hold there, contract that particular muscle, whichever is running around there. So you have to contract that and hold the position. Okay, your lower back, it's supposed to have that strength. Okay, if you're just bending back from the lumbar region, then it won't benefit you that much. Okay, but if you have mobility in any joint, so what can we do in that case? Let's suppose if your wrist has mobility. So now what are we going to do? We will rotate that. We will increase that mobility. We will increase the range of motion of that joint. Okay, but in a stable joint, we will not increase the range of motion of the joint. We will just build the strength. Okay, so that is why usually what happens in yoga when we are performing the posture like lotus pose. Lotus pose, when you're folding your legs, one leg on other leg. So we usually have pain on knee joint because we are having that twisting on our knee joint. Once you get the twisting on your knee joint, definitely you will have pain and you may tear your ligaments. Okay, so this is also the reason that you usually feel pain on your knee joint. Okay, so what can we do in this in order to build the strength of your knee joint? What are the poses or what can we do in this case? We can build the strength of a thigh. Okay, if your entire body weight is shifted only on your knee joint, then you will have pain. Okay, then what can we do in this case? We can build the strength of your thigh so that that body weight is going to be distributed over your thighs. Okay, before your thigh, that is supposed to be distributed over your lower back. Okay, so do you know that which part of your body is holding the most of the body weight?
The hip joint.
Hip joint or lower back. Okay, so that is holding your entire body weight. Okay, so again, see, we have stability in our lumbar region, we have stability in our hip joint almost, like in your pelvic girdle we have stability. So this is supposed to be like this is supposed to we are supposed to like build the strength of that hip joint or lower back. We're not supposed to extend or flex. We're not supposed to like make it flexible. If you're making it flexible, then you will have hyperextension and hyperextension. If you get hyperextension, then you can never build the strength of that joint. Okay, so always remember, if you have a stability in any joint, you have to build the strength only. No need to go for the flexibility of that joint. So this was the thing about mobility and stability. If you want to write down anything, you may write down. Or if you have any question
So
about
once
this.
again, if it's
Yes.
stability, we increase the strength, and in
Yes.
terms of mobility,
Mhm.
what do we do?
In terms of mobility, we increase the range of motion
Okay.
of that joint. Same like in your shoulders. If you want to increase the mobility, you have to keep on rotating. Okay, and then increase the range of motion of your shoulder socket and your hip joint too. So let's talk about now flat feet, the foundation of our body. Okay, feet. So we have got flat feet, we have got bone. We have got flat feet, high arch, and normal arch. Okay, this is your plantar fascia. This is called plantar fascia. Okay, if you have nice arch on your feet, that means you're perfect. It means you won't have any problem with your knee joint, your hip joint. But if you have flat feet means when you are collapsing directly from the inner arch of your feet inward. This is your flat feet. When this is completely flat, okay, that is your flat feet. When you have got flat feet, your feet will start to turn in. Okay, when that start to turn in, it means it does not have strength to hold your body. Okay, that is why gravity is pulling you down and you are turning in to the center of the gravity. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to build a strength right here in your plantar fascia or inner arch of your feet. Okay, so how are we going to build the strength of this region? Any idea? No idea? Okay, so whenever you are doing any posture like chair pose, warrior A, or anything, whenever you're lifting your toes off the floor, you will have an arch. Okay, but if you are releasing your toes down on the floor, you will release your, like, you will collapse inward. Okay, so what can you do? You can put the clothes in front and then pull your toes and pull that cloth towards you like this. Okay, or whenever you are performing any posture, you're supposed to lift the toes off the floor like this. Lift the toes and feel this inner arch of your feet on the floor, and your all 3 points of your feet that should be pressed down evenly. These all 3 points. Okay, this should be pressed down evenly into onto on your mat or on the floor. Okay, you can go against the wall. Again, you can pull your toes like this. You can do Tadasana. Do you know Tadasana? You can interlock your fingers and then lift your heels off the floor, and again you will work on the strengthening part of your plantar fascia. Okay, this is how we can release that flat feet. Okay, so let's suppose you have got flat feet. You have got flat feet. Then let's suppose it has taken so much time. Like you have got flat feet 3 or 5 years, 5 years back ago. Then you will also fall into knock knees. Okay, because of this flat feet, your feet. See, when you have flat feet, your feet will rotate inward towards the center, and your knees will also come together in front. Okay, this is called knock knees. When your lower leg is rotating outward, feet is rotating inward, and your upper leg is rotating outward. Again, see that position. Your upper leg is rotating inward, lower leg rotating outward, and your feet that is collapsing inward. Okay, this is your knock knees. Because of this feet, we are having our knees knocked. Okay, so how are we going to cure them if you find somebody who has got knock knees? For the flat feet, we can easily cure by strengthening their plantar fascia. But if somebody has knock knees, then how we are going to cure? Yes, Parinda ji.
Um, I'm not sure about the like what can be done for this in yoga, but how we treat these patients are by correcting their alignment right from the ankle. So it's like if they have flat feet, you modify their arch first. So if they have built on an arch, then that's what would help them evert their knees and ultimately their hips. So we can try training their hips, specifically the abductor portions, and strengthen the muscles of the hip, along with trying to strengthen their ankle, which will release their pressure on the ankles and would rotate the knee. So that is, I have the basic idea.
Yeah, as you told that you're gonna strengthen your butts or hip muscles or abductors.
Yeah.
Right? So we are going to do the same here.
Mm.
And one more thing, we're gonna stretch our inner thigh muscles. Okay, see, when your legs are coming together, what's that mean? It means your inner thigh muscles, they are getting tight, and your outer hips does not have enough strength to hold you back, right? So if it had strength, like it had enough strength to hold you back, then your knees won't come together, right? So if your knees are coming together, it means your inner thigh muscle that is getting stiff, and they, like, you have got tightness in your inner thigh muscle, and that is supposed to be released. Okay, if you're working out on the flexibility of your inner thigh muscle, that is then you can easily remove that knock knees, and working out on your outer hip strengthening part. Okay, and for, like, we have got so many postures to make your inner thigh flexible. Okay, like frog pose, pigeon pose, and warrior A, that is going to strengthen your outer hip. So these are the poses going to help you out. Do you guys know about these poses? Okay, the frog pose, that will make your inner thigh flexible, and your butterfly pose, that is also again going to make your inner thigh flexible, and your wide leg forward bend, when you're opening your legs out and completely bending down, that is again going to make your inner thigh flexible. And what about your outer thigh? That should be that should have a strength, right? So how you're going to build the strength in that case if your outer hip muscle does not have a strength? See, when you're lifting your arm up like this, so which muscle is working out right here? Your triceps or the biceps?
Uh, the abductors, that is the triceps and the deltoids.
Your abductors kind. Okay, so your abductors, that is working out right now. Okay, your outer palms, like your outer hand. Okay, these muscles is working out. So what that mean? If you're lifting your right leg up right like this, so now you're going to work on that strengthening part of your outer thigh. Okay, so that's how we can strengthen our leg. Okay, in warrior A, again we can strengthen our front leg from the outer thigh, and warrior C, in the warrior C. Do you know about warrior C? No?
Not about warrior C.
Okay, this is your warrior C. In this, you will again strengthen your thigh. Okay, one leg is back. Okay, or when you're bringing your one leg forward and twisting back, again, this is going to build the strength of your outer thigh. Okay, that's how we are going to do these poses for them. And what about if you have got high arch feet? If you have got high arch feet, you will have bow knees, and your leg will be rotating opposite of your knock knees. Okay, so your upper leg, that will not rotate inward, that will rotate outward, and your lower leg, that will rotate inward, and your feet, that will rotate outward. Okay, that case will happen when you have high arch feet. Okay, and see, in for those who has got this knock knee, we're gonna stretch their inner thigh muscle, right? But if you have bow knees, then we will work on the flexibility of our outer thigh and strengthening part of our inner thighs. Okay, so that is going to happen in that case. And because of this flat feet, your knee will come together, and you will have also that anterior pelvic tilt and posterior pelvic tilt. Okay, do you know that anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt? Okay, so when your hips is tilting forward like this is your anterior pelvic tilt. When your hips is tilting backward like this is your posterior pelvic tilt. So basically, normally everyone has got this anterior pelvic tilt. Okay, but when it's tilting too much forward, then there is a problem. Okay, it usually happens when your leg, your lower leg, your upper leg, that is rotating inward, and your hip flexors, they get tight. That's why your hip, that will start to move upward. Okay, so for those who has got this anterior pelvic tilt, we can do all back bends and stretches on their hip flexors here. Okay, so we can do, like, there are few yoga poses that we can go with that. Your Asana, horse riding pose. This one is going to help them out. And what else? You can do high lunge or warrior A. Okay, you can do warrior B. In this, you are also having this stretch here. And what about the strengthening part of your back? See, when your hip is tilting forward, what's that mean? This part is tight and this part does not have strength. That's why it's letting you go down. Okay, so now we are supposed to work on the hip. We're supposed to work on the strengthening part of your hip. Okay, so how we gonna build the strength of your hips? When we do squatting, you can perform that. Okay, squat pose that you can try, or chair pose that will build the strength of your hips, and warrior A, again, that will strengthen your hip. See, when you're stretching this part, automatically other, like, proportionally on the other side, you will engage that part and it will build itself, its muscle itself. Okay, so if you're stretching this part, automatically your hips will squeeze and you will have that engagement in your hip joint. Okay, so this anterior tilt, that happens when you have got knock knees and flat feet. Okay, when you have got a lot of body weight and obesity in your body, then it also happens because of it. So any question that you want to ask about this, whatever we have done so far? No. So tomorrow again we're gonna talk about this. Okay, sit in any comfortable pose. And then close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and long exhale out. Now we will chant one Om followed by three Shanti. Take a deep breath in. Om. Shanti. 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 Join your hands together in front of your heart center. Bow your head down. Then open your eyes while blinking. And namaste to everyone. So, then enjoy your evening. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.